Hello everyone, I'm Freaky and welcome to the video. My friends, I love Bleach. I love the characters, I love the music, I love the animation, and I'm also glad that the Thousand Year Blood War arc is going to be made into an anime. And I'm so freaking happy about that. But there's one thing that I'm not looking forward to, and that is the forced ending of the Thousand Year Blood War arc. Because if you've read the manga, you guys know it's coming. Because back in 2015, Kubo was forced to end the manga of Bleach, thanks to Shueisha. And the reason why they said, okay, we know you're not feeling well, so we want you to end the series Bleach in 5 chapters. And that's what Kubo did. Shueisha made Kubo finish the chapter in 5 chapters. And when this happened, the fandom wasn't pleased at all whatsoever. And there was loads of people pissed off at Shueisha for making Kubo finish the Bleach manga in 5 chapters. And listen, I know what some people are going to say. They're going to say, oh, but Freaky, Kubo at the time wasn't feeling well. And that's the reason why Shueisha forced Kubo to end the series Bleach in 5 chapters. They made him finish off the manga for his own good. Wait a minute, hold on. Yes, I know all this. I've had people in videos telling me that Kubo wasn't feeling well, so that's why Shueisha told Kubo to finish the manga off as soon as possible. I've had people in the comments telling me, oh, Kubo wasn't feeling well, so that's why Shueisha told Kubo to finish the manga as soon as possible. Hell, I've even been hearing people say, this is exactly what Kubo wanted. Kubo wanted the manga to end here in 5 chapters, and this is the ending that he wanted. And listen, if you guys know me, I wasn't happy with this ending, because I knew it was rushed, everybody knew it was rushed. I was just so freaking angry that the manga ended the way it did, because there was just so many things that wasn't explained, there was things that we didn't see, there was information that we never got, like what happened to certain characters after the war, and that final showdown that was going to push Ichigo and Watch at the limits. We never got that. It just absolutely infuriated me on how the manga ended the way it did. Now listen, before anybody says anything, I just want to say one thing. Yes, if Kubo was ill at the time, then I would say that his health comes first and foremost. Kubo should stop his work, and he should go and get himself all healed up. And you know what? That's exactly what he should do. He should think of his health before his work. And you know what? I'm behind the fandom when it comes to Kubo getting better. I have no anger or hatred towards Kubo. He should totally get himself all fixed up and get himself healthy again. But the fact that Shueisha told him to finish the manga in 5 chapters really freaking annoyed me. Okay, let me start from the beginning. I've always had my suspicions when it came to Kubo not feeling well and Shueisha telling him to finish off the manga in 5 chapters. Well, you know that feeling when you think to yourself, something's not right here. Something seems off. Something doesn't add up. Because over the years when Kubo finished the Bleach manga, there was all sorts of things that came to mind when it came to Kubo forced to finish the Bleach manga. Because when it came to Bleach and Kubo, they really haven't had the best of luck. And you know what? I actually think it's more than just Kubo being ill and Shueisha says, okay, because you're ill, we want you to stop the manga in 5 chapters. I've always believed that it was just more than that. Than just, oh, Kubo's sick, so we're going to make you stop the manga so you can go and get better. For me, something didn't add up, because we know there was supposed to be more in the manga, like Aizen's backstory, who is he, where did he come from, what made him hate the Soul King. There was Yoruichi's holy armor that we never got to see. There was the backstory of the Soul Society, on how it used to be worse than it is today. There was the original wars with the Shinigami and the Quincy's, and other wars that the Shinigami did. There was the origins of everything, like how was everything set up? What was the beginning? How did everything come into being? There was Grimmjow's second release. I mean, come on, Grimmjow at least needed a second release if he wanted to keep up with the Quincy's. I mean, come on, at the very least, he needed a second release. I mean, come on, we see Grimmjow in the Thousand Year Blood War. And there was also round 2 of Ichigo versus Grimmjow that we never got to see. We never got to see Ryukin and Ashin fight in the Thousand Year Blood War arc, because in the manga, all we see is them giving Uryu an arrow that can defeat Watch. And my god, that stupid arrow, that came out of the hell out of nowhere, and I freaking ate it. And there was also Ichigo's true Bonkai. We never really got to see Ichigo's true Bonkai, and we was never shown why Watch was scared of Ichigo's sword and why he was scared of it. And those are the few things that we never got to see in the manga. And when the manga ended, I was really angry and upset. But there was also the novels, especially the novel Bleach Can't Fear Your Own World. And my god, from what I've read, from what I've heard, from what I've watched on these novels, it just blew my freaking mind. Because I'm pretty goddamn sure that everything that was in these novels, I'm sure Kubo wanted to put in the manga. And there was other things in this novel that I never really thought about. There's something about Tozen, there's something about the Fullbrings and Ginjo. There was even a part where the Soul Society wanted to make Ichigo the new Soul King, and the main antagonist of this novel is just freaking awesome. Everything in Can't Fear Your Own World is a freaking godsend, and I'm 100% sure that this is what Kubo wanted to put in the manga. And it isn't just this novel, there are a few other novels that does sound interesting. If you guys want to go and check out the Bleach novels, please go and check them out because they are interesting, especially Can't Fear Your Own World. These novels give closure to the ending to the 1,000 Year Blood War arc, and you know what? I am so pleased that it exists. It just gives us so much closure, and not only that, not only do we get all these novels, there's also the visual novel that adapts the novel of Can't Fear Your Own World, and there's also the newest chapter where we see Ichigo, and it looks like the new chapter is going to center around hell. And also, Kubo is going to be adding some more stuff within the anime that wasn't in the manga, so this will be all new stuff. There's stuff from the novels, new stuff that Kubo's going to add in the anime, there's the new L chapter, and also there's also stuff that we never got to see. You know, Aizen's backstory, the holy armor, etc, etc, etc. So yeah, you guys got the general idea of what I'm trying to say here. We all know there was supposed to be more stuff within the Bleach manga, and thanks to Shueisha, the Bleach manga was forced to end. And listen, I know what some people are going to say, and you guys don't need to say it. Yes, I was told that Kubo wasn't feeling well. His health was deteriorating. But here's the thing, I've always had my suspicions there was something wrong here, because there's quite a few things that doesn't make any sense. And in my opinion, I think that Shueisha wanted to get rid of Bleach, regardless if Kubo was ill or not. And I don't think Shueisha or any of these companies have any respect for Kubo. Now, you guys can call me a conspiracy theorist, or think, oh, I'm overthinking things, or, oh, you guys think I'm crazy. Now, even though we know there was supposed to be more that was supposed to go into the manga, but there is also things that makes me suspect that Shueisha or these companies just wanted to get rid of Kubo and Bleach. So before you guys call me a conspiracy theorist, just hear me out what I have to say first. And if you guys want to debunk me on any of these, just hear me out on what I have to say first, okay? Okay, number one, the first thing I want to bring up is the Bleach Hellverse movie. Now, from what I've gathered and heard, I heard that the company or whoever was producing the movie didn't use Kubo's script or any of his ideas on what he wanted to make the movie about. It was so bad that he wanted his name removed from the credits, and from what I heard his request was denied. I mean, seriously, why would they do that? They refused to use his script, and he requested that his name would be removed from the credits. But his request was denied, and from what I heard, its only favorite part within the movie was the Ichigo versus Ukiura fight. I mean, seriously, why though? And if you ask me, I think they don't have any respect for Kubo. I mean, come on, at the very least, let him write a story for his own creations, you assholes. Number two, when Kubo submitted his work, Kubo was turned away, and he bumped into Akira Toriyama. And it's all thanks to Akira Toriyama. You know, the same guy who created Dragon Ball? It's all thanks to Akira Toriyama that Kubo had a second chance. Because from what I've heard, it was all thanks to Kubo and his connections that gave Kubo a second chance. At the very least, I think that's what happened anyways. So, if you guys think about it, the only reason they gave Kubo a second chance was because of Akira Toriyama. They never wanted to give Kubo a chance to begin with. But because of Akira Toriyama, you know, one of the biggest mangakas in Japan, I mean, how can these companies or studios refuse that? So, that's 2 times that they didn't respect Kubo's work. Okay, that's number 2. Let's move on to number 3. Now, when it comes to number 3, I just want to ask you guys something. Has there ever been a time when you've been watching something and you notice something when a character says something that they wouldn't usually say, but it would usually be the real people who's talking through these characters? Let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say. Do you remember the episode when Goku was fighting Jiren while he was in his Ultra Instinct form? Well, do you guys remember the times when we used to think that Goku was an hero? Like, when we was younger, we always used to think that Goku would fight and train in order to protect the world. And that was the reason why Goku was training. He bettered himself in order to get stronger so he can protect the world. But this was the Western dub. This dub made Goku more of a hero than anything. But in the original dub is Japanese dub. Goku wasn't like this. Goku was more selfish. Like, remember the time when Goku let Vegeta go? When he asked Krillin to spare Vegeta? Well, in the original Japanese dub, Goku didn't want to spare Vegeta because he thought Vegeta could change. He spared Vegeta because he wanted to fight him again. But in the Western dub, Goku wanted to give Vegeta another chance. Or, let's go back to the part where Goku faced off against Jiren. Goku says that he's not a hero for justice, but he takes issue when somebody hurts his family or friends. And to be honest, for a long time, we've always seen Goku as an hero. He doesn't fly around the galaxy trying to fight people in order to protect the universe. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, you're going to have characters say something that's either from the creator himself, and he says it through the characters, or you're going to have a redub, and these dubbing companies will dub something completely different, like for example Dragon Maid, where the character Lukawa says something completely different, and she says something about the patriarchy or patriarchal something. Yeah, the left is trying to spread their messages through dubs. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say. You're going to have the creators or the redubbers or writers say their messages through these characters. And these characters are going to say something that they wouldn't say, but it's actually the creators, the redubbers, the writers, etc., that's saying these things through the characters. And it doesn't need to be through live action characters or animated characters. It can also be through manga as well. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you guys, because at the end of the manga of Bleach, we see Captain Chiraku visiting Ukitake's grave, and Captain Chiraku is saying, oh, it's taken 10 years to fix everything. And this is the part where I think Kubo was sending a message through the character of Captain Chiraku. Nanao comes in and says, Captain Commander, we're out of time, please pick up the pace. And Captain Chiraku says, man oh man, some people just can't appreciate the pace which I move. Now, when you look at this in the manga, some people might see it as, oh yeah, the characters are just talking. But if you think about it, it could also have a double meaning, like Kubo's editors are saying, okay, you're running out of time, get a move on. And Kubo, through Captain Chiraku, says, or basically says, that he wishes he can go through his own pace and no one telling him to rush him. Now, some people might say, oh, this is a stretch. But when I saw this panel, it does kind of correlate, like Kubo was told to finish the manga in 5 chapters. And these 2 panels kind of tells us what Kubo thinks about the pacing. It's almost like Kubo didn't want to end the manga. Again, you can say that, oh, it's too much of a stretch, and say, oh, I'm overthinking things. But for me, this just correlates with Shueisha and Kubo, and Nanao and Chiraku. So what I'm saying is, Nanao is Shueisha telling Kubo, which is Chiraku, to hurry up, and Chiraku is saying, okay, fine. So there you go. That'll give you something to think about. And so, let's move on to the next one. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is that companies don't care about the creators of mangas, novels, and all these shows. Because when it comes to these companies like Shueisha, their first priority has always been money. Because here's the thing, companies don't care about your feelings, and they don't care if you've got this big massive magnum opus of a story that you want to tell to the world. When it comes to companies, it's always been about money. And there's quite a few things that I want to say when it comes to this. Now, most people say that, oh, Kubo stopped because he wasn't feeling well. And Shueisha, out of the kindness of their heart, said, okay, Kubo, listen, we know you're not feeling well, so for your own good, we want you to stop the manga in 5 chapters. Because I highly doubt that Shueisha had good intentions when it came to Kubo's health. Again, you guys can call me a conspiracy theorist if you want, but in my opinion, I think they actually wanted to get rid of Kubo, regardless if he was ill or not. And I have multiple reasons as to why these companies don't respect mangakas, or anybody for that matter. Let me give you guys a few examples. Number 1, their animators are underpaid and overworked. Now, this is a real thing, and there's lots of controversy when it comes to this. I mean, there's even times when animators either have to work from home, or they stay at the office until tomorrow. And there's even cases, well, a lot of cases. In fact, the majority of mangakas barely gets any time off, and they only sleep for like 4 hours, because these big companies have a very tight schedule. I mean, if you guys was to go onto YouTube and type in the problems with the animated industry, the mangakas, and producers and all that stuff. When it comes to making manga and animation, it is exhausting work. It's one of those dark secrets that the manga industry or animation industry tries to keep under wraps, which is why they're always looking for young talent and has that energy to keep going. Now, when Kubo started Bleach, Bleach started in the year 2001, and Kubo at the time was around 23 years old, or 24 years old. Anyways, when Kubo was forced to end the manga stopped in the year 2016, and Kubo at the time, Kubo was around 39 to 40 years old, and it's said when you get past 35 years old, your health starts to deteriorate, or in this case, you don't have the energy like you used to. And I think that's one of the reasons why they wanted to get rid of Kubo, because of his age. Now listen, I know what some people are going to say. They're going to say, oh, but freaky, there are other mangakas like Uba, the creator of One Piece, who is 47 years old, and he's still continuing the manga of One Piece. And there's other mangakas who is older than that, and they're continuing their mangas. And you know what? Yes, you guys are absolutely right. There are mangakas out there who is older than Kubo now, and they're continuing their manga. But the thing is, not everybody is going to be the same when it comes to their motivations, their health, and Kubo's health was one of the factors as to why they let him go. Because I don't think they actually had a passion for Bleach. In my opinion, I think they actually wanted to get rid of Kubo and Bleach just to make way for new talent. Again, let me go back to the Hellverse movie. They never used anything from Kubo's script, and this company just made up things on the fly, even when they had a perfect script from Kubo. And that's exactly what I mean. These companies don't care about your health, your wants, your needs. These companies want you to work so they can make money. It's all about the green, and they don't care if there was more things that you wanted to put into the manga, or there were certain parts in the manga that you wanted to make longer. Like, for example, Akira Toriyama really wanted to have Semi-Perfect Cell to have a more longer time, but Akira Toriyama's editors at the time said, okay, Cell looks like a moron, put him into his perfect form, and so he did. And guess what? Semi-Perfect Cell came back in the form of Cell Max in the latest Dragon Ball movie, Superhero. And it's said that Akira Toriyama's favourite form of Cell was always Semi-Perfect Cell. And yet, I know, when it came to Akira Toriyama's editors at the time, they said, oh, these androids aren't so good, make some more, and these other androids aren't so good, make some more, and then we got Cell. So yeah, there is some good when it comes to editors telling their mangakas to make some altercations. But saying that, editors are always telling their mangakas to hurry up with something, or change something. Again, I know, sometimes that this can be good when it came to the androids, but the manga has to live up to the editor's expectations, and they even change things around from what there was in the manga, or the novel, if they was to ever make it in a anime form. And there's quite a few things within the manga of Bleach that wasn't put in the anime. And I'm not talking about the censored stuff that was too gory or violent, but there was other things that was in the manga that wasn't put into the anime, like Chad liking cute things, or Kon seeing Ichigo off when he went to the Soul Society to go and rescue Rukia. You know, that sort of stuff. And there's also one more thing, and that is the age of the characters. Because when we first saw Ichigo, he was roughly around 15 years old. And the manga of Bleach has been going on for about like 15 years. Now, when it comes to the main protagonist, they're always trying to make the protagonist young, like 10 years old to 15 years old. So that way, the characters can be more relatable to the kids who is reading or watching the anime or manga. And Bleach has been around for about 15 years, from 2001 to 2016. And even before Bleach ended, Bleach also had a time skip, just like what Naruto did, just like what One Piece did, and the characters was much older. And now in Naruto, we have Boruto. And instead of the story talking about Naruto and him being the Hokage, they're telling the story about the next generation of Naruto, and it is Boruto. It's the same with Dragon Ball. When Goku was at that age, young kids could get behind Goku when he was a kid. And when it came to Dragon Ball Z, kids could get behind Gohan because they could relate to Gohan. And when it came to GT, people got behind two people, which was Pan and Goku, well, Kid Goku. And now in Dragon Ball Super, they made Goku dumb, like kid dumb. And I'm going to assume the reason they made Goku like this, so kids can get behind Goku's silliness. Because when it came to Dragon Ball Z, Goku wasn't like this. I mean, yeah, he was naive when it came to Z, but they made him a clown in Dragon Ball Super. And the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because in the latest Bleach chapter, we see Ichigo and Horihime's son, and Rukia and Renji as a daughter. So this is going to be all speculation, but let's just say, for example, that Bleach was a big success when it came to the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, and someone says, okay, we need more Bleach content after the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. Now, in my opinion, I think they should follow the novels. You know, can't feel your own world and all that stuff. And I really hope they do that. But saying that, if they do say, oh, we need some more Bleach content, and they do the novels, and they say, okay, we still need some more Bleach content, I'm pretty goddamn sure that if Kubo was to come out of retirement, I'm sure the next story of Bleach is going to centre around Ichigo's kid and Rukia's kid and other kids as well, just so younger kids can go, hey, this kid is the same age as me, I'm going to read this manga. And this happens all the time in anime. I mean, look at all the Gundam series. Most of them are piloted by young kids or teenagers. And yes, I know this is the demographic that these companies are trying to target. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But this is Ichigo's story, not his kids, but his story. The story should centre around Ichigo, centre around his past, his powers, the mysteries he has to solve, and face off against all these things. Bleach is Ichigo's story, not his kids. And also, speaking of which, let's talk about another piece of work that Kubo made, and that is Burn the Witch. Now, here's the thing, I haven't seen Burn the Witch, even though I know this is Kubo's work, and I refuse to read it or watch it, because the thing is, Kubo was forced to end the manga of Bleach, but later on, he's allowed to make another series called Burn the Witch, and that's the main problem when it comes to this. When Kubo was feeling much more better than he was when he was making the Bleach manga, Kubo made a new piece of work, and it was called Burn the Witch, and supposedly, Burn the Witch is supposed to take place in the same universe as Bleach, and supposedly the main characters work for an organisation called Reverse London, and these guys are fighting dragons, and supposedly Reverse London is supposed to be the western branch of the Soul Society. And when I heard this, I knew exactly what they were doing. I knew this was just a way just to calm down the fans by saying, hey look, Kubo's got a new manga out, and supposedly this organisation is supposed to be the western branch of the Soul Society, and they're fighting dragons. I mean, come on, you guys can't tell me that this manga isn't supposed to be a crowd pleaser, just to calm down the fans, because that's the way I saw it. It was just a way to calm down the fans saying, oh look, see, Bleach came back, but in this case, It's the Western branch of the Soul Society. Well, you know what? The novels did a better job at calming me down than whatever the hell burned the witches. I'm telling you, these companies do not care in the slightest about bleach. I mean, for what I've been hearing, and people telling me in videos, I've been hearing people say that Ichigo hasn't been seen in any magazines or posters. It was almost like they were trying to get rid of bleach. Now, this was from a long time ago, but I do remember it. I remember somebody saying that Ichigo hasn't been seen in magazines or posters or anything like that ever since bleach stopped. And it was a short period of time. Now, you guys can correct me if you want to, but I do remember a time in one or two videos where bleach YouTubers said that Ichigo hasn't been seen in posters or magazines, and they even showed me magazines where the big anime character stars like Naruto and One Piece and Goku and lots of other characters was on this magazine, but Ichigo wasn't on it. I couldn't help but feel that they were just trying to hide Ichigo. But like I said, it's been a long time, but I do remember a video, people telling me this and showing me this. And listen, I'm not lying. I do vaguely remember a video about how Ichigo wasn't seen on any magazines or posters after bleach ended. Again, it almost feels like that they were just trying to hide Ichigo and pretend he didn't exist. And you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised if there was people out there that was jealous of bleach and or Kubo. I mean, there has been people out there who has either said, oh, they didn't like a series or movie, even when they was working on a movie adaptation of it. I mean, look at the Boruto and One Piece fandoms. There was people saying that, oh, Bleach is a terrible show, it's awful, and this would usually come from either One Piece fans or Naruto Boruto fans, or people who got onto the bandwagon, and it was the cool thing to hate on Bleach. And this has even been seen in videos, in music and animations. I mean, look at Master Media. He actually killed off Ichigo in his Anime War episode. And there was a song called Ultimate Anime Hero, Ultimate Anime Hero. And there was a verse in the song that said, he's got no post from the series Bleach because Bleach is a terrible show. Loads of people back in the day hated Bleach. There was people ranting about it, saying how terrible it was. There was people who said it was garbage. But now, Bleach is back. And those same people who was shit on Bleach are going on, hey look, Bleach is back, I can't wait to watch it. And these are the same people who were shitting on it some time ago. And now, because it's came back, there are fans of Boruto, Naruto and One Piece. These people are going frame by frame in the series of Bleach in episode 1, trying to name and shame, saying, oh look, see, this part is awful, just for one freaking frame. And if you ask me, I think people are just jealous. I mean, have you guys seen the freaking trailers? The animation looks absolutely freaking gorgeous. And the 1,000-Year Blood War arc within the manga is supposed to be one of the best arcs within Bleach. Minus the ending, but you know, fingers crossed they'll continue with the novels. I mean, come on, One Piece is ending soon. And Boruto, well, I mean, it's Boruto, it's crap. It doesn't compare to Naruto. And I bet these guys are just jealous because Bleach is getting all the attention. Now, some people are probably thinking, oh, it's petty for me to say that. But this sort of thing has happened in the past. I mean, they weren't going to give Kubo a chance to begin with. So it must have stunned the people who turned Kubo away when Akira Toriyama put in a good word for Kubo. So there must have been some jealousy there. And here's another thing. Why didn't they let Kubo just go on a hiatus and just have one of the episodes of Bleach and one of the chapters of Bleach say, to be continued, maybe? I mean, come on, there has been loads of mangakas who has gone on hiatuses and they've came back working on their work. I mean, yeah, there was some mangakas that didn't come back, like Berserk and High School of the Dead and all that stuff. But at the very least, they could have said, okay, to be continued in the anime. And when it came to the manga, because the manga was more of a weekly sort of thing, and considering that Kubo was around 39 at the time in the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, again, Kubo didn't have the energy like he used to. But saying that, I mean, look at the creator of One Piece. He's still going and he's around 47. Like I said, they didn't care about his work. They didn't care about Kubo himself. They just threw him away because he was struggling, because he was sick. And they didn't care about his work. And they didn't care how much of impact he would leave on the fans just to end it in 5 chapters. They just said, okay, we're cutting ties with you. And you know what? I'm 100% sure that Kubo wanted to continue the manga of Bleach, like in that chapter with Captain Chiraku, or the new Hell chapter. And when he got better, he was allowed to make a new manga called Burn the Witch. So it was obvious that Kubo had some more stories to tell, and he had more energy, and he was feeling a lot better. And they just got rid of him because of deadlines. Because, you know what? If they just left Kubo alone to go and get better, and these companies told everybody, aka the buyers of the series Bleach, you know, the fans, they could have told the fans that the anime is going to go on hiatus and the manga is going to go on hiatus. And hopefully Bleach will be back. Because if they did do this, just leaving the manga on a cliffhanger, and Kubo was on his road to recovery, Kubo might have actually drawn the manga in his own time at his own pace, with no deadlines, or somebody telling him to hurry up. He could have done the manga in his own pace, and when Kubo was feeling better again, from the time they went on hiatus with the manga to the time when Kubo got better, he could have had a few more chapters and maybe more. And then, when he got better, he could have gone back to work with Shueisha. And he gives these chapters to the editors and says, okay, I'm going to carry on with the series Bleach, and these are the next chapters of Bleach. And there you go. The series wouldn't have stopped. Kubo would be getting better. He could be working at his own pace for all that time when he was getting better. And during that time, while he was making these chapters, he could have made like an whole bunch of chapters. Or when he got better, he started continuing the manga again. But no, they didn't. So all the ideas that Kubo had, he had all these ideas be put into the novels, Can't Fear Your Own World. I mean, come on, if you've read the novels, you know for a fact that this novel is a continuity of the manga. And like I said, these companies only care about money, and they kicked Kubo to the curb when he was ill, and they threw away Bleach like it was nothing. Listen, you guys can disagree with me, but for a long time, I've always had my suspicions when it came to Kubo and Shueisha, and I just think they just wanted to get rid of Kubo and the Bleach series. Because, think about it, they have a tight schedule, and every episode is a once a week sort of thing. Now unless they have fillers for episodes, so that way the creator can get far ahead from the anime, then it's going to be hard for them to carry on the Bleach anime. And Bleach is infamous for having loads and loads of fillers. In fact, I think the Bleach anime is more than 50% filler, and many people at this point just got fed up with so many fillers. I'm sure Shueisha didn't want any more fillers. Or it could be this. Since that Kubo wasn't feeling well and they didn't have any source material, and there was no guarantee that he would make it into the studio or the company to give them advice of what they should do if they wanted to continue make fillers. But there was two things that was stopping them from doing this. Number one, the fans were sick and tired of fillers. And number two, they wouldn't be able to get Kubo to come into the company to ask him for advice. And also, they were unsure about his health. So, no source material, no one wanted fillers. Shueisha at this point had nothing. And instead of saying to Kubo, hey listen, we know you're not feeling well, so this is what we'll do. We'll put the Bleach manga on hiatus, and the anime on hiatus, and you continue to get yourself better, and while you're trying to recover, if you want, you can continue making the Bleach manga at your own pace. And then, when you do get better, you can submit all these chapters that you've made, and then when you're fully better, you can come back and we'll continue the manga as usual. And when you're far away from the anime, we will continue the anime. And in the meantime, somebody else can take your place when it comes to the anime. And then, once these people have stopped their manga, we will let you back into that slot. But they didn't do that. Remember, Shueisha is a business. They don't care about your grand stories. They don't care about your characters. These guys are about making money. And you know what? I heard about this story about this female mangaka, and she was heavily pregnant, and she was working so hard to a point I think she lost her baby because of the tight schedules and stress that she was put under. And the people that she was working under, they didn't care that she was pregnant. They wanted her to continue with the work. And listen, I'm not making this up. This actually happened. I saw it in a video once. These companies don't care about your stories. They don't care about your mental health or health in general. Instead of trying to be thoughtful and to tell Kubo to have an hiatus, and they'll sort something out, and then once he's better, he can come back. But nope, they didn't do that. And these companies think that, oh, Bleach will be irrelevant in a few years, so let's not show Ichigo at all whatsoever, so the public and the fans can just forget about him. And I think that's why they was trying to keep Ichigo out of magazines and posters, so that way people will forget about him. And I'm not just talking about the fans, but I'm talking about the public in general. I mean, you'll see Naruto, you'll see Luffy, you'll see all these characters on magazines and posters, but you'll never see Ichigo. But look at us, the fans have kept this series alive. I mean, look at that mobile game, and a few other things. Look at the games, look at the novels, and even the Bleach haters or people in general was saying, ah ha ha, look at these Bleach fans. Bleach is never ever going to come back. But look at us now, Bleach is back, and it's freaking beautiful. And I've been hearing stories, either Boruto fans or One Piece fans was going frame by frame trying to point out the things that's wrong with the Bleach anime. And there was people backtracking who were saying, oh, Bleach was terrible, Bleach is garbage. But now that it's back, they are now praising it. I mean, seriously, why didn't they let Kubo just go on hiatus and just let somebody else fill in that gap? And then, when he's healthy again, he could be allowed to come back. I mean, if other mangakas can do it, then why couldn't Kubo? Because it was a weekly manga series. And anime is there to promote toys and games and all sorts of merchandise. Again, it's all about the greens. And considering that Bleach was 15 years old, I'm sure somebody at Shueisha got into their head saying, oh well, the teenagers that was around Ichigo's age must be around 30 or something, and I'm sure the younger generation isn't going to know what Bleach is, so let's cut ties with Kubo and bring in something new for the younger generation and sell them our shit. Nobody cares about Bleach anymore. I mean, really? Don't underestimate the powers of fandoms. Because when they forced Kubo to finish the manga, that ending left a bad taste in our mouths because we all knew there was supposed to be more within the manga. I mean, look at the new Elf chapter. Look at the novels. You cannot tell me that those things weren't supposed to be in the manga. Look at Burn the Witch. that was a creation of Kubo. And you know what? I'm even hesitating to go and watch Bleach, the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, simply because I know for a fact how it's going to end. Because we've already seen it in the manga. I mean, yeah, sure, don't get me wrong. There's loads of things to love about the 1,000-Year Blood War arc in the manga. I've seen the manga, and there are great things within the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, and I'm really pleased that it's going to be animated. And I also know that Kubo is going to be helping and telling people, listen, there's a few things within the anime that I want to put in that wasn't put into the manga. And we know there's going to be some new stuff that we assume that Kubo wanted to put into the manga, but never had time to put in the manga because of the time restrictions they was put under. I mean, that's all well and good, but there's always that stupid, god-awful ending that Kubo was forced to do. Again, we know there was supposed to be more. There was loads of unexplained things. There was stuff within all the novels that should have been in the manga or the anime, because it wasn't just Fear Your Own World. There was loads of other novels about Bleach with stories in them. If you was to go to the Bleach wiki and look up all these novels about Bleach and look upon the stories on what's happening in these novels, especially Can't Fear Your Own World, you guys will be shocked on how interesting they all sound. I mean, I haven't read them myself, but after researching on what happens within these novels, these stories should have been in the Bleach manga, especially Can't Fear Your Own World, because we know this was a sequel to the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, and there's loads of interesting stuff in Can't Fear Your Own World. You know what I'm saying? Can't Fear Your Own World is a sequel to the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, and you know what? I hope the novels get animated, and I mean all of them. The Bleach manga deserves a lot more respect than it did in 2016. A hell of a lot more respect. I mean, who knows, maybe Kubo might actually continue the manga, and that story could be about hell. I mean, come on, it was hinted in the latest chapter that Kubo made. So, if the 1,000-Year Blood War arc is successful, they might do the novels, and ask Kubo to continue the manga. And you know what? Fingers crossed. And listen, I know for a fact that what I said in this video is controversial. Some people might debunk me. Some of you might think, oh, maybe he's right. And listen, I've had people in the comments, I've had people tell me in videos, I've had people tell me in articles, I've had people tell me on Twitter that Kubo wanted the manga to end this way, and we fans should think about Kubo's health. And listen, I'm not knocking that. Kubo's health should come first and foremost. And I don't blame Kubo. I blame these companies leaving him out to dry. I'm pretty goddamn sure that they didn't make Kubo end the manga because they thought of his health. I think it was because of the stuff that I mentioned in this video, and it could be other things as well. Again, it's all about the green. It's all about money. And listen, if you guys can debunk me of everything what I've said, then please go ahead. All I'm saying is that we need to stop and think, because ever since the Bleach manga ended, and over the years, I've always had my suspicions about Shueisha letting Kubo go, and it wasn't just about his health. Again, seriously, why didn't they just let him have an hiatus? But instead, they ended the manga. Well, they forced him to end the manga. So, yeah, I said what I wanted to say, and I know I'm going to get a lot of people rattled about this, so we'll have to wait and see on what you guys think about this. But I want you guys to think about all the things I said in this video. That's all I'm asking. Let's just hope that the 1,000-Year Blood War arc will be so successful that they'll beg Kubo to come back and continue the manga. Or again, maybe they might do the novels as well. I mean, fingers crossed. Well, that's it from me. Was I right? Was I wrong? Do you guys love Bleach? Do you guys have your suspicions when it came to Shueisha letting Kubo go? Do you guys think that an hiatus would have been better? Please let me know in the comment section below, and let's get a discussion going. I'm Freaky. Peace out. And please don't forget to check out my other social medias. Please go and check out my alternative video platforms: Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Twitch, and please come and hang out on my Discord server. We can play games, have a movie night or a series night, or you can watch me play a few games. And if you guys have any suggestions of any videos you want me to react to, or any video ideas in general, you can tell me on my Discord. I'm also on Twitter, Gab, Getter, and Paula. I'm on Locals, Tumblr, Minds, and if you guys want to support me, please go and check out my Subscribestar. It's like Patreon, but better. All these things are in the description box below, so please go and check them out and subscribe to them. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out.